actions undertaken at the regional level can be effective and contribute also to initiatives undertaken at the international level so that we can put an end to terrorism, not only in Nigeria, but also in the whole sub-region, in order to allow our populations to prosper.
My name is Leon Sigbe from the Nigerian Tribune. My question goes to my president. So how do you address the concern of many Nigerians, and indeed the world, that it's either that the Nigerian military are too afraid to tackle Boko Haram, or they don't even have the capability? Against the background that the money voted for military purposes have not been properly expended. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Of course, the rule was one question per president, but I have to answer it because you're from Nigeria, and of course has to do with the military. There's a lot of misconception about issues of Boko Haram, the government and the military and resources. You know that when Boko Haram started bombing, started from Abuja, a military barracks, in fact, a leisure place in a military barracks was first bombed. The second was the United Nations building in Abuja. The police headquarters in Abuja was bombed. So if the security services in Nigeria were incompetent of dealing with Boko Haram, I don't think anybody would have been staying in Abuja now. There were bombings in Niger State, there were bombings in Kano State. So now that, for now that the bombings have been limited, or the excesses have been limited to the fringes of the border between Borno State, Damawa State, and Yobe State, and the Cameroon border, that means that they've been able to push up the Boko Haram to that level. So the feeling that the Nigerian army have no competence of meeting the Boko Haram is not correct. Globally, all the presidents there can attest to the fact that the Nigerian soldiers have been involved in international peacekeeping, and they've been doing wonderfully well from the 60s till date. In Africa, Nigeria is one of the countries known for peacekeeping. If they are so inept, they wouldn't have been used. So that is not true. The issues of misuse of resources too, well, maybe administrative lapses in some cases, but I think it's been over-exaggerated. I hear such stories, but when you look into it, it's not quite right. Maybe some payments that to be made, delays are made by either banks and so on. People who were expecting these funds may not know that these are administrative issues. So it's actually blown out of proportion. But one basic thing is that because Nigeria, we never, after the Civil War, we never, maybe the country was not preparing for another civil war. So in terms of some strategic equipment, especially facing modern criminality, we are not there. And I said that the issue of terror and suicide bombing just started in Nigeria in about 2009. So we didn't have the architecture to deal with that. It's now that we are building the capacity. It's a different form of crime, a different form of criminality. And you must have trained people, which we are training people now, acquire relevant equipment that we are acquiring and we are receiving now. And I bet that as we progress, you'll see that Nigerian military and intelligence services will cope with it. In fact, they are building capacity and increasing in competencies on a daily basis. So there's a lot of biases. We have challenges, no doubt about that, but definitely we'll overcome it. Thank you.
Par rapport à cette question, regarding that particular question, we've made two findings today. We've drawn two conclusions. All the heads of state who were here and the countries that were represented. The first conclusion is the ferociousness of this terrorist group that attacks children, women, the civilian population using barbaric methods. We were aware of this, but it has indeed been confirmed. And the second finding which is much more worrying in terms of the potential impact, is that this group is armed. It's armed, it has heavy weapons, it has a degree of skill that we could not have imagined earlier, and it has the ability to use these resources. It's trained. The training must have been given over a period of time when northern Mali was occupied by terrorists, and this means that they had financial resources. Now, several questions were posed by President Déby. Where do the weapons come from? Where does the money come from? And we sought the answers to the questions. The weapons, for the most part, or to a very large extent, come from Libya. That's not the first time that we've observed that. Unfortunately, we saw that during the war in Mali. As for the money, well, there's still work to be done, and this is why we need full cooperation from the international community in order to find out how these terrorist groups are being financed. Last question.
Nicole Sarr.
Nicole Sarr, journalist at Pan-African television channel. My question is for Mr. Goodluck Jonathan. Mr. President, what kind of support have you foreseen for the family of these young girls, and why didn't you go and visit the families as soon as you heard that these young girls had been abducted? Please, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
Thank you. Maybe with the issue of a visit to the families, these girls that are from a particular school, but there are lots of misconceptions. These girls have been removed from the school. So visiting the school per se does not solve the problem. The commitment of the President and the Nigerian government is to find where these girls are. They are not from one family. They are scattered from a particular Chibok area, which is more than, I think, one full local made up of so many communities. So there is no one family that you go and visit. So the emphasis is not, say, you are going to the school. Yes, a part of the school has been destroyed. The commitment of the federal government, the school is owned a state government school, but the commitment of the federal government is to rebuild that school, with good walls to protect it and provide facilities, since it's predominantly a school that takes care of girls' education, so that the girls will be protected. Mr. President, yes, I will visit Chibok, no doubt about that. But my service chiefs and others have visited. But visiting the school itself is unlike a situation where probably, like what happened in Abuja, when the UN headquarters was bombed, I was there. When the police headquarters was bombed, I was there. Because there was physical disruption there and attracted. In fact, I was in Kano when I had the bomb blast in Kano. I was in Niger State. I visited even the Borno State before, where this is happening. But what our interest now is to locate the girls, where they are. These girls are not held in Chibok. So, but sometimes, why did the president go to Chibok? If the president goes to Chibok today, it does not solve any problem. Maybe psychological problem or for media relevance. But you have not solved the problem. The problem facing the president and indeed the Nigerian government is how to get these girls from where they are. Thank you.
We had said one. We said last question, but today, President François Hollande, with his guests, recognized the fact that the threat posed by Boko Haram is spreading beyond the region with kidnappings and so on. But we realize that Cameroon and Nigeria, they're the breeding grounds for this threat, and they're not coordinating their actions to fight Boko Haram. Is there a real problem? Is there a problem between the two? I would like President Goodluck Jonathan and President Biya to answer. Well, I thought you got your answer from the summit. Otherwise, they wouldn't be both present at the summit. to fight together, implementing the plan that we have developed. And if there is a message to get out of this summit, is the unity of the head of states to act and to sound the alarm in the world. They're not the only ones involved. They're the first to be attacked, so they're strongly involved. But they should also be supported by other countries. And this is the reason why this summit was organized on the initiative of President Goodluck Jonathan to show that we can discuss. That's the simplest way of proceeding, but we can also act together. And I can tell you that all the head of states present here are committed to acting, because you have over 200 young girls held in barbaric conditions and threatened to be sold into slavery. There are no questions to be asked. There are actions to be undertaken, and this is going to be the case. And we didn't wait for this summit to be mobilized. Action was already undertaken as soon as these girls were abducted. We have to succeed for those girls, succeed for this region in Africa, and succeed in our fight against terrorism wherever it appears. Thank you for your participation.